And today we are joined by one of the most legendary industry standard setters who has been making a huge global impact throughout each emerging new era of business evolution, and whose longevity has provided an epic benchmark for the leading authority of his arena. And we are graced today to have Ted Thomas, and he is a best-selling author and publisher, and he is best known as America's Tax Lien Certification or Certificate and Tax Deed Authority. And he has been featured on ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox, and he has been recognized in Newsweek, USA Today, and the Wall Street Journal. And I also want to say that his epic organization is the single largest source of tax, lien, and deed information products in the world. And he is here today to share with us about his passions, his work, and also how he is making his industry mark. And I am looking forward to this conversation with Ted today. So without any further delay, I would love to bring on Ted. So Ted, I'd like to welcome you to make your industry mark.
Well, thank you. This is great because you say words like legendary and longevity, and I guess what that really means is I'm old. Is that what that means?
No.
Oh, my goodness, I'm legendary. So that really made me feel good. So, okay, so we better be good today, because if we're not good today, we're in big trouble, because when you're legendary and you got longevity, oh, my goodness, I keep saying to myself, no wonder I got all this white hair. I'm legendary. So you made me feel good. That was really good. Anyway, so let's talk about things that we want to talk about today, like showing people how to make money and showing people how to change their life and how to grow a lot and become an entrepreneur and get your head beat in, but come back and do well with life. We can talk about that today.
Absolutely. I am so looking forward to this conversation. And just let me add that mentioning that you are legendary and have the longevity means that you are a trusted epic brand for our listeners to really give awareness to. So it certainly has nothing to do with being old. It's that your brand is one that has definitely developed a know, like, and trust factor globally.
Yes.
So I just want to make mention that, no, you certainly have the longevity and the youthfulness, because you are still continuing to evolve
let's go with that
what it is that you do.
Yeah, let's talk about that youthful stuff. When they start talking about your legendary, that means you survived a long time, right? So that's really great. So thank you.
Exactly. You've evolved so much. That's right.
I really better be good today. You know, I speak on the platform all over the world. You know, I've been in the past 3 months, I've been in Australia, I've been in Singapore, I've been in Bangkok, I've been in Canada, a couple of different cities, and next week I'm in New York City. I mean, it's amazing how the world is the same, but it's so different. And I just had a conversation with a client, and they're in Bangkok, and I joke and I say to them, I say, people in Bangkok are really well educated. They speak English like we're speaking English now, which is surprising, because it's a good thing, because I don't speak Thai. And so so I jokingly in the room, I say to them, you can always find me. I'm the guy with the white hair, because everybody has black hair in there. And so when I talk to the group, I tell them I hate people with black hair, because everybody got black hair. I'm the only one with white hair in the room. So anyway, so we better get down to business and stop fussing around here.
No, listen, I love your energy, and I love that you opened up with sharing that. Yeah. And, you know, I want to definitely jump into our conversational training for today. I would love for you to set the stage, sort of telling a little bit about yourself, you know, the name of your organization, and also how you got started in your industry. Sure.
Well, first of all, I'm Ted Thomas, and my first career was as an airline pilot. Now, I was one of those people that was blessed. I spent some time in the military, and I was air traffic controller, and then I became a commercial pilot. And I flew for Aloha Airlines in Honolulu, Hawaii. And I made a career of aviation. That was my first career, and that was good. But when I discovered that you could really make a lot of money being a business for yourself, I decided I'd change. And so that's exactly what I did. I changed, and I went in the actual real estate business in the state of California. Now, I didn't get involved in houses or that kind of thing. I started right out buying 50-unit apartment properties and office buildings and things like that. And of course, I needed investors to do that. So the beauty of that business was if you understood financing, you understood real estate, it would just grow. It would grow so fast. If you look at it on a chart, the chart wouldn't creep up. The chart would just go like a spacecraft, just go straight up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made a ton of money. I made a ton of money before I was 30 years old. So here I am, 30 years old, and I did have black hair. I was black hair and skinny in those days. And so sure enough, I made a lot of money. And then along came 1986. And in 1986, now that's 30 years ago, in 1986, the markets crashed. And when they crashed, I owned all this real estate, which we had financed up to little over our ears. We were really financed. But it was making a lot of money. We were doing well. But when the market changed, all the real estate collapsed. And when it collapsed, I went all the way to the bottom. I mean, seriously, to the bottom. And when I got down to the bottom, my wife ended up with cancer. And I said, I'm really doing something wrong. And I can laugh about it now, but it wasn't a laughing matter in those days. So at that point in time, I said, Ted, it's time you found out about a business that doesn't have risk. You've got to try to get yourself out of the risk. It's a 4-letter word, risk, R-I-S-K, risk, or R-I-C-K.
Mm-hmm.
There's a different one. But you've got to think about that. You really don't want to be in the risk business. So that's what launched the career that I've been in since 1986. And I slowly started digging out of that big mess and paying off all those debts and what you have to do. So every entrepreneur that's listening needs to know you're not going to just get rich overnight. Now, I was blessed when I started because I started out and I had a good career and then I made a lot of money. But when it came apart, you don't have a plan then. You don't have, sometimes, if you go on a camping trip, you plan the trip. If you go on a flight somewhere, the captain plans the flight, but you have to think about the taxi on the other end and the hotel and whatever, But I didn't have a plan, and I had to. So I went to the bottom, and when I got to the bottom, I had to do some serious thinking and what to do. So I decided I would get out of the risk business, and that's how I got to into the business I am now. And once I get into that business of tax defaulted property and tax lien certificates, which most people don't know about, once I get into that, I discovered, wow, there was a whole world that I could be involved in that was going to make a big difference in my life. And so that led me to becoming a teacher and an author and writing books about it. So it shows you can remake yourself. And I didn't say it was going to be easy. But, having a tooth pulled isn't easy, but if you don't do it, what are you going to do? So a lot of people don't think about that. Yeah. So,
that's so true.
So that's So I started it. I started out doing very well. I went all the way to the bottom, and then after a number of years, I dug myself back out again, and it's been real good to me, and you can tell by my attitude how good it is now.
Yes, definitely. I like I said, I love your energy and just
thank you.
Your whole essence just really vibrates the whole epitome of entrepreneurship as it should be. And the thing about what I love so much about having this conversation with you right now and holding this space with you for other entrepreneurs is that you love what you're doing, and it comes through. You can tell that you have found what it is that makes your heart sing, that pure calling. And a lot of entrepreneurs, they search for that, and they think they find it in a certain aspect of business, but what they don't realize is that it really is in the evolution of your journey, just like what you've been sharing so far about the journey wasn't easy, so to speak, but you were clear about what it was you wanted to create, and now look at what you're doing and what you've been doing. That's why you're legendary.
Let me give you a quick example of what happened the other day. The other day, my video guys sent me a video that was about 27 minutes, and the video was it was an interview that I did with a couple that came from Ghana in Africa, and they're both highly educated people. They're both professors. And they immigrated to Montreal, Canada. And then they talked to one of my clients that was also from Montreal, Canada. The client said, you got to go find out what Ted Thomas is doing. And so they did. And I didn't know they did that. They found out about me, and they went to my website and that kind of thing. And they pretty quick they started reading my materials. And the next thing that happened to them, and I'll make the story short, next thing that happened to them is they followed what I said in the materials. And now they were at an event that I was teaching, and I didn't know them. I didn't know who they were. I mean, they were sitting in the audience. And once I found out this story in the audience, I asked them to come up in front and tell us about it. Now, this couple, he's working. It's his job to do the work. It so happens that he's not only a professor, he was in the United Nations peacekeeping force because all the different wars they've had over there in Africa. He's an entrepreneur. He's a medical doctor. His wife is a professor. I mean, these are some bright, intelligent people that are trying to make it because their background from the country that they're from, they couldn't there. So they came to Canada, and then they found out about me in the States, and here they are sitting in Florida. Anyway, long story short, we videotaped the interview I did with them. And this woman is going to, she made an investment. We showed her how to do it. And she's going to make an investment, and she's going to make more than $50,000 the first time she ever made an investment.
Wow.
And she sat there in front of the audience. The audience stood up and applauded her because she did all of this on the internet, if you can believe all that. And I'm watching the interview that I'm doing. I'm watching me interviewing her, and I'm looking at this video, and I started to cry because her whole life is completely changed. Now, how could you do that for somebody else?
Right.
You know, that was here I was, and I'm sitting there looking at my own computer, at myself interviewing these people, and the impact of the interview came to me more afterwards, watching the interview that I had done. And here's this woman talking about how her whole life has changed because we put her with one of our coaches, and she was going step by step, and she was going to make more than $50,000. I mean, think about how much.
Wow, that is amazing.
And so there's some things that are worthwhile. So I immediately typed a few little notes and said to people, look at this great interview. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. It brought a tear to my eye. And then within 2 hours, I must have had 10 responses. Because other people shared it with other people. This other person that was doing well. So these were just entrepreneurs from a different part of the world. If you think I'm in Florida, they're halfway around the world. I mean, they're the other half of the world because they're in Africa. They didn't come to the States. They came to Montreal, Quebec, and then I showed them how to do it on the internet. Now, can you imagine such a thing?
Man, I mean, that is wonderful. You are totally making your mark, and I definitely want to ask you really quick, because what you're sharing is so, it's so on point, it's so critical, and that is such a transformational sharing. Is why do you think it's important to really make a mark in the industry that you serve in? We can speak to why it's important for anyone to really be making a mark, and you're totally really sort of already sharing that. But for the listeners, tell them why it's important that they make a mark in their industry, and then you can speak to those who are actually in your industry.
Well, I can speak about my industry because I started at the bottom and kind of worked my way up, and then now I produce seminars and books and DVDs and CDs and videos and all that. But probably the most important thing you can do in your own life is, first of all, you'll be able to take care of a lot of people if you can just take care of yourself. Now, see, a lot of people can't take care of themselves. So step number one is really get good at taking care of yourself. Now, the way you do that is really simple. It's really, really super simple. You can do it the hard way. That's called making mistakes. Or you can give yourself a mentor to help you. So it's one or the other. Get one or the other. Yeah, go ahead and make the mistakes. That'll take you 20 years. Or get a mentor and take 2 years. But the point is, you become an expert at something. I don't care if it's hair care, it's teaching people yoga, it's being a great cook, being what are traditional things like a plumber, a butcher, baker, mechanic. Whatever you want to do, you can be a computer engineer. But get so very good at it that you can then teach other people. And if you can teach other people, then, what was that moment worth when I was sitting there I'm watching my own interview, and I'm listening to the woman. I mean, I'm just asking her questions, and she's looking back at me, 2 foot away from me in my face, talking back to me. So her face is filling the screen, and she's telling what a change this is in her life. And she did all this in less than a month.
Wow.
That's
almost unheard of. It's incredible.
Yeah. And I'm saying, oh my God, how could this happen? So everybody needs to they need to do something that they are. See, if you appreciate yourself, then you can appreciate a lot of other people. Because
that's right.
You then respect skill they have. See, and the more skill you have, the more other people that have skill are attracted to you. Everybody's attracted to you. It's an attraction thing, like, you know, women from the time they're 12, they start combing their hair and putting lipstick on. They want to be attractive to people. Well, you know, you can be attractive just by your knowledge and sharing it with people, and that's a gift. You know, that gift, that extra work, your work becomes a gift to them. You're giving it to them, and they might even pay you for it, but you're still giving it to them. And then what happens? What a response you get! What a response! It's phenomenal, the response you get. It's just
wow.
You can't appreciate. Yeah. So do you want to talk about tax liens and deeds? Should I teach you guys about that so you know what it is?
Yes, we definitely want to know about that. Yeah.
So, all right, so we won't give you a half-hour lesson, but I'll give you a 5-minute lesson, okay? And you'll understand it in 5 minutes.
Oh, no, you can take the half hour. Go right ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of a blabbermouth when it comes to the subject because I love it, and it got me out of the risk business. Here I made all that money, and I lost it, and it went down to the bottom, and I embarrassed myself. I made a fool of myself is what I did. I actually made a fool of myself when I was 30. It was so bad. It was incredible. But, you know, I recovered from that. So now let's talk about what these are. All right, now, everything that I'm going to tell you about now is 200 years old. 200 years old. Now, that's about the same age as me. 200 years old. All right. So.
And you have plenty of time, so take your time. Don't feel you have to rush. Definitely take your time.
Okay. So in the United States, now this doesn't happen in other parts of the world, but in the United States, this is the land of opportunity. So every real estate property, like a house, an office building, a ranch, a farm, any kind of building and structure is going to have a tax on it. Now, that tax comes from years ago. We got that from England. That was called a wealth tax. In other words, people who own property were considered wealthy, so they had to pay a wealth tax. Now, the wealth tax is about 1% of the value every year. So if it was a $100,000 house, it would have a $1,000 tax. Now, that's not too bad. It's only $1,000. So, you know, $100 a month. All right. Now, that wealth tax is taxed at the very local level. Now, in the United States, we have the republic, then we have states, and then we have counties, and we have municipalities. So everybody lives in a county. I don't know what your county is, but everybody can name their own county. So that county has to have revenue, and the revenue it gets is from that wealth tax. So every property in the county is taxed, and that money is owed to the local government. All right, so that's a very simple system. It's in every county. There's 3,000 of those, and it's in every municipality, and there's 1,450 of those. All right, so now you know that. Now, unfortunately for the local government, everybody doesn't pay their tax. So that's unfortunate. Now, sometimes people don't pay their tax because maybe they had someone die in the family and they had to pay for the funeral. Maybe they had a new baby, or maybe they had a car wreck and they didn't have insurance, or maybe they had someone go to the hospital, whatever. They don't get their taxes paid. So now the local government has a problem. And so the problem is, how are they going to pay for the schools? How are they going to pay for the police and sheriff? How are they going to pay for the libraries? How are they going to pay for all the different things? How are they going to pay the county employees? How are they going to fix the roads? So now the person that had trouble, they're now passing their trouble on to the county. Well, the county doesn't like that. The county says, "Ooh, we don't like this." So what they do is they issue a piece of paper. Now, it's just a piece of paper like the ones that comes out of your printer, 8.5 by 11, the one that comes out of your computer printer. All right. And that little piece of paper says on the top of it, it says tax lien certificate. And then it has your property address on it and the amount you owe. It's just that piece of paper. Okay, so that means they've issued a certificate. All right, now those certificates have a lot of value, but they have a lot of power. So I can go to the county, or they'll actually send me a notice on the computer if I want, and I can find out about all these certificates. So let's say Ted, I didn't pay my tax. They would issue a certificate on my house that said, Ted owes $1,000. So anybody that's listening to us right now, anybody could buy that certificate. They could go to the county. They could do it online even. They could go online. They could buy that certificate and pay the county the $1,000. They say, wow, they paid my tax. Okay. So what they did is they bought that certificate. And when they bought the certificate, they now have a right of ownership in my property. So if I don't pay the certificate and buy it back, In other words, pay my tax. If I don't pay my tax, whoever owns that certificate gets my house.
Wow.
Ooh.
I'm so glad you're shedding this awareness here.
Yes.
Several people don't know this. Wow.
Oh, no, the people that don't realize this. All right. Now, that's in the states that are benevolent. About half of the states are not so benevolent. The other half of the states, they'll send a notice to me and they'll say, Ted, you didn't pay your tax. And I said, I haven't got the money. They will send me 3 of those notices, and then they will auction my house for the back taxes. The starting bid on my house will be the back taxes.
Wow.
All right, now, the amazing part of everything I'm telling you is this has been going on for 200 years. And there's 5,000 of these auctions every year. Now, if you wanted to buy one of those certificates, we could show you how to do it online, or we could show you how to go to the auction and do it. There's all different ways to do it. And when you bought that certificate, you own a certificate. And so if I don't pay it, at the end of the year, I owe you whatever's on the certificate. So let's say it was $1,000. And if it was here in Florida, I'd owe you an additional 18%. So just imagine, you go down to the bank, you go down and put money in the bank. The bank says, we're going to pay you a nice solid 1%. The local counties in Florida will pay you 18%. Wow. Now, to tell you how big a business this is.
Yeah, it's mind blowing, actually.
It is. People are in shock when they hear me say, I live in Florida. I live on a little island off the coast of Florida, and in Florida, in the month of May, the taxes are due, and 1 million property owners will not pay their tax in the month of May, just in Florida.
Wow.
That means there will be 1 million certificates available. So at this point, you see it's a big business. So this is happening in all the states. It's happening in all the states and all the counties. So if you buy a tax certificate, it's a predictable, certain, and secure investment. You see, your money is secure because remember I told you they want to be in the risk business? If I buy certificates, I have no risk.
You have no risk, right.
Because if they don't pay me, I get the property.
Unbelievable.
So why not buy as many certificates as I can? And what if I could buy them online?
Right.
Yeah. So you can do this in every state, every county. Now, sometimes the counties are actually selling the property, and that means they're going to sell the deed to the property, and the starting bid of those properties is the back taxes. The starting bid is the back taxes because the government doesn't care what the value of the property is. All the government wants is their tax on the property. Because remember, the local government needs that money to pay for the policemen and the firemen and for the schools. You see, the schools would shut down. If people don't pay their property tax, the schools will shut down. And so most people have no perception. But I can tell you right now, 55% of the people in the United States own their own property. 55%. Over half the people own a property. And so this is a big business. There's over 100 million homes in the United States. 100 million. I have databases and all this stuff where we can take a little thumb drive, a thumb drive that you store things on. We can take a little thumb drive and put it in the side of your computer, and I can look at every property in the United States from your computer. Yeah, so we have database on that. So that's the business that I get into for a number of years ago because I wanted to get out of the risk business. My other business was hugely profitable, but it also was hugely deflating when the market changed and it went right out from under us. We lost everything. Everything we had was just gone. Beautiful homes, everything. And you're really in a situation where when you go bankrupt, it's the most it's not only devastating, but it destroys your ego and destroys everything around you because people visualize bankruptcy as so bad that you become bad because of it. It's like all of us are good people, but sometimes we do bad things. But when you go bankrupt, believe me, everybody thinks that you're bad. So that was a business I got into, and now you can completely understand why I did it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I absolutely can. Yeah, and
Good.
what I love about this, too, is, you know, you mentioned about how it is in the risk, the risky business, so to speak, and this being sort of, you know, a no-risk industry to really get into is it's important that our listeners really understand that as they are reinventing themselves and really wanting to make a huge mark, you know, in their industry, and also considering this as sort of a cross-industry opportunity to take advantage of, because to me what I'm getting from this is this produces the consistency and sort of the timeless evolution of no matter what's going on in the economy, one can always win when going this route. So it makes sense why you've created what you've created to really help others be able to really tap into this experience. This is really great.
Yeah. The beauty of it is the little guy can buy a tax certificate for $100. You know, it's not going to be a mansion. It's going to be a little strip of land, but you can buy one for $100 and earn, you know, 16%, 18%, even up to 24% on the certificate. Or, as some people say, gee, why don't I buy just residential land? I don't have enough money to buy a house yet, so they could buy that. And then if they buy it, I think everybody would like to own something and only pay the back taxes together. I mean, that would be as cheap as you could get anything. And so there's opportunity for everybody that wants. So it's a kind of business that anybody can do it if they want to. There's a certain amount of learning curve, like everything, but it's not something that's consuming of all your time. This is just something you do part time. It's not something you work. I mean, I work at it every day because I'm a publisher and an author, and we serve a lot of markets here in the States and overseas. But I mean, this is not something you have to do every day. That's for sure.
Yeah, this is great, and I know you can share tons, more about this. But I really would like for you to sort of share, how does one get started in this industry? I know how you got started, and you started building your own empire. Right. But someone who says today, I really would love to start exploring an opportunity in this industry.
Okay. Well, let me answer that two ways. First, I'll be self-serving here, and I'll just say TedThomas.com, and there's free videos there they can watch, so they can learn that. So TedThomas.com, they can go there, and they can just watch the 4 free videos. And that's all it. But the simplest thing, the simplest thing is every county in the United States, there's 3,000, about 3,200 counties. Every county will sell tax liens and tax deeds, or both. They will do that, and so they could go to if they were in Manhattan, they'd go to King County. If they were in Los Angeles, go to Los Angeles County. If they're in Seattle, they could go to King County or Skagit County, or one of those. And they could ask for information, and they wouldn't even have to ask. They could just go on the county website and see that these tax certificates are available. Now, I'm not suggesting you go out and start buying them right away. It would be better. It's always better to get educated. Remember what I said earlier?
Exactly.
You either make mistakes or you get a mentor. It's one or the other. And so some people prefer, they say, I don't have any money, I'm going to learn by mistakes. Well, you might never get any money if you keep doing that. But
that is the truth.
My point is, you need to get someone to guide you. So that's always good. So I already gave them a free guidance. If they just go to TedThomas.com, there's 4 videos. That'll give them a little education. But these certificates are available in half of the states, and properties for back taxes are available in the other half of the states. Now, it's not unusual for an auction to have, we just had some people from the Canadian provinces. They like to buy here in the States, and they wanted to buy in New York because they're over in the Toronto area. Toronto's on the east side of Canada. And so I said, well, just drive down past Lake Ontario and Buffalo, New York. And they went into New York, and the county that we suggested they go to had, this is hard to believe, they had 200 real estate homes, 200 that they were selling. The starting bid just back taxes.
Wow.
And so they went and they bought 4 properties. They bought 1 house, and they spent. There was a house. There was another bidder. They weren't the only bidder. The house was worth about $80,000, and they spent $25,000. They bought a house for $25,000.
Wow.
And they had a renter. There was a renter in the house, so the renter was paying $850 a month. So they bought a revenue source is what they did. Then they bought another property right on a big lake. They bought 27 acres. This is hard to believe. The 27 acres, according to the tax collector, was worth $175,000. They bought it for $12,000 at the auction.
Get out! Wow.
Yeah. Last auction.
This is mind blowing. I mean, this is really mind blowing.
Oh. If I showed you, it's here on my desk, so you can't very well see it on this audio recording, but if you had gone with me to the auction in Los Angeles, which took place a couple of months ago, they auctioned just Los Angeles. I'm not talking about the whole state of California. Just Los Angeles. They had 1,800 properties, and the starting bid was just the back taxes.
Wow.
So that meant they had some $1 million properties that were the starting bid of $40,000, $50,000. And if you saw the list, I described that. If you've ever seen a telephone book that's 2 inches thick, remember the telephone books? Okay. The auction list was 2 inches thick, and they had 1,800 properties in that list. So one of my students went to that auction, okay? All right. One of the students, and he wanted to buy residential lots. That means that would be a residential lot would be where you could put a house on it, but there's not one yet. You know, it'd have streets in and water and sewage and all that stuff, electrical. All that was in. He bought 5 of those, and he spent $83,000. And the tax assessor said those properties were worth $1,100,000.
Get out.
How many times do you have to do that in your life?
Right. Wow.
Would that work for you?
Yeah, me and a lot of other people, right?
Yeah, but this is not unusual. Everything I'm telling you is 200 years old. I mean, I didn't make it up.
Yeah.
I just
it's interesting.
When I got to the
you
bottom,
say it's 200 years old, but a lot of us don't know this information. That's why I'm so happy that you're bringing the awareness and educating, because this old history has somehow it seems like it's been hidden from the masses, or we just haven't known how to look for it or access it. You know, this is a whole other stratosphere of entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Well, that's what you just said is the perfect answer, because people don't research things and don't look anymore. If it doesn't pop up on the internet, they don't do it yet. Every bit of information that I'm giving you could go out and research. I mean, I didn't have any choice. But 25 years ago, I went all the way to the bottom. I started digging into it, and I just kept digging until I found out how to make money with it. And now that's basically what we do. So it's not unique. I could tell you stories from now until next week about people doing the same things that we're talking about now, because we have so many. We have video recordings of people doing this. It's unbelievable. We teach class. I teach a class on Thursday night that goes into 5 countries. It goes into Australia, Thailand, Singapore, Canada, and the UK. So when I look up at the screen, there's people from both sides of the world on that call. Yeah. So, and they're learning how to do it, and they're living outside the United States. Now, I don't know if you know that the provinces of Canada, but the provinces on the western part of Canada are called British Columbia and Alberta. I have a woman in Alberta, and she took my class, and she said, well, Ted, I want to buy in the States, but long story short, she bought on the internet. So she lives right on the Pacific Ocean, and she bought a residential property on the Atlantic Ocean in Florida. And she spent $24,000, and it's a nice mobile home in a nice mobile home park, and she could sell it for $75,000 right now. She paid $24,000 and she could sell it for $75,000, but she didn't sell it. She didn't want to sell it. The reason she didn't want to sell it, she had her husband. He was a worker, and she was supposed to be in charge of the wealth building. So she had to raise the kids and be in charge of wealth building. And she told me that in a 20-year period, she hired, listen to this, this is amazing, she hired 20 different financial advisors. Now, some of them were insurance people, some of them were brokers, some were financial planners, some were investment advisors. She hired 20, and she gave them one objective. She said, you have to make 5% on the portfolio, otherwise I'll hire somebody else. And in 20 years, she never had anyone that made money.
Wow.
She fired 20 of them. Yet her first investment, she bought it herself. We showed her how to do it online. She bought the property online, and she spent $24,000. She could sell it and make herself $40,000, $50,000 easily, but she didn't want to sell it. And the funny part of it is, the reason she didn't want to sell it is a renter wanted to rent the property, and her return on investment is 40% a year. 40% a year, and she could not get an investment advisor to get her 5%. All by herself, she bought that. She rents it for $850 a month. If you add up $850 a month, it's going to be $10,000. So she had $24,000 invested. She gets $10,000 of it back every year. How good is that?
This is certainly evolutionary.
As soon as you think about it and give it any thought at all, really what we're doing is we're just buying properties for as close to back taxes as possible. So there's no secret to what I'm doing. It doesn't require, you don't have to go to the Harvard Business School to do what I'm talking about. Anybody can do this. It's just a matter of learning how to do it. And for the people that want to, and I hope you wrote down tedthomas.com, because if you did that, you can go to that site, and there's 4 free videos. Just watch the videos. You'll get a real education. As a matter of fact, you'll be so surprised, you'll say, wow, that Ted really does have a lot of white hair. Yeah.
Listen, we're thankful that Ted has done, really the hard work, so to speak, of all those years of research and sort of condensed it down, for individuals to be able to simplify the process to really get started. And I know you have a best-selling home study course that's titled Quick Start to Buying Government and Tax Lien Certificates and Tax Deeds. Is this one of your would this be sort of an entry level that you would recommend those who are really serious to want to get started with that after they watch the videos?
We have some very, very basic things that they can do. But for the people that are serious that want to do it, if they're really serious and say they're going to do this business, they want to watch those few videos, and then they want to get what we call it. It's a little more of an advanced course. It's called a Quick Start course. Now, the reason we call it Quick Start is we have people come to us and say, can I learn all this in 4 to 6 weeks? And I say, yes, if you'll concentrate. So this is a course that it starts out, it has manuals, it has directories. I have a directory for every county in the United States, the phone number, the email, everything they need to know. Then we have whole DVD courses where they can learn the basics. Then we have audio courses so they can learn in their car. Then we have, in addition to that, we have special parts of the course that will just teach you how to buy online. So there's some people that work perfectly, so we show them online so that when they open their computer, they are learning that there's a video coach to show them how. So the video coach. So we have a video coach, and that every Wednesday night, we've been doing this for 12 years now, we have one of our coaches come on and do live questions and answers every single Wednesday night. We've done that call. It's at 6 o'clock Eastern. It's in its 12th year, and it's amazing. People come on and ask. And then every day in our office, we have what we call a facilitator that they can call in and say, all right, and the facilitator will be giving a class, and they give the classes on what they can access on our website. Our website it's really a resource center, but when you tell someone it's a resource center, that it's like a big library. And there's so much information there. I mean, I could not teach you everything I know if we started now and we finished at Christmas. I couldn't teach you all that.
Oh, yeah,
but
I'm sure.
The resource center is there. So let's say it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you want to learn something. You can go to the resource center. There'll be videos there. There'll be audios there. There'll be complete classes there. It's 25 years of all this material is right there in the resource center for people to get to. And we have someone to show you. You go online, can't find stuff. I know. Everybody has the same problem. Oh, I couldn't find it, guy. Right. I know you couldn't find it. That's why we have a facilitator every single day be able to show you where to find stuff. We know. We understand what the problem is.
This is great.
We've been teaching it for years and years and years. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
And you wonder why I called you legendary? Really?
It was
really, right?
I know. Yeah. My wrinkles, my gray wrinkles. That's why I got that. I got it. Yeah. Okay, so I'm under pressure to do another call.
Yeah, this is wonderful.
If you have anything that you want to cover, I'll be happy to do it. Or if you want me to come and do another call for you, I'm happy to give you information.
I certainly would.
I have to watch my clock. You know how that is.
Yes, no, I certainly would. I wanted you to be able to share, as much as you wanted to. And once again, provide your website, contact information.
Sure. All right, I'll do that. If they just want some free information and learn more about it, they can go to tedthomas.com, and they will find that there's an area there where they can get 4 free videos, and you can watch them all in one night. They're only about 20 minutes each, and I'll be there, and I'll have some videos there for you, and it's just an educational thing. And then if they ultimately want to do something that go all the way, then they should call into the office. And,
okay.
An easy way to do that, I'll just give you a number here in Florida, is 321. Then the number is 449-9940. So I'll do that again. 321-449-9940. And the people that are there in the office, Kim usually answers the phone, or Ashley, they've all been there for a number of years. And, they can say they heard the call so that so we can tell you that they called in. And then
okay, great.
If they want information, they'll give them all the information they want.
Okay, perfect. Listen, Ted, thank you so much for spending your time with us and sharing a plethora of knowledge with us. And I just thank you. I can't appreciate you more for being able to just dispense your evolution to us, because that's what it is. But I certainly want to be able to have you back on and also bring you on other platforms as well. Thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure, and I'll look forward to seeing you again and talking to you again soon.
Absolutely. Take care. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.